Good morning, everyone. Afternoon. Welcome to Economic Tourism and Cultural Development Committee meeting, Wednesday, December 13th. Call to order. Looking for approval of agenda. Moved by Your Worship Brown, seconded by Councillor Twill. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Sorry?
Excuse me, Mr. Chair. When I was approving the agenda, I just forgot to mention that we do have the Gerlich, I call it Brenda the Gerlich here today, just to give us a brief explanation of something that she's proposing for the city. And it's just an introduction, and there will be follow-up, hopefully, through our department. So it's what I refer to it as Maritime Gerlich.
Any issues with adding that to the agenda? Seeing none?
Thank you.
Okay, that. Thank you. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Need an approval of minutes on December 8th, 2023. Moved by Mayor Brown, seconded by Councillor McAleer. Was there any business arising from those minutes? Seeing none, we'll move on to discussions and reports. We have a couple of gentlemen here from the Eastlink Center doing a presentation. Welcome, gentlemen. Just hit your, yeah.
Very good. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present to Council and Your Worship. You have before you a list of capital projects that we feel are important to cover over the coming year. So the first slide, get this working. All right. So the first slide, we'd like to enhance the visibility of the center in terms of signage with regards to passing traffic. This would allow us to have better promotion and better advertisement, better name recognition of events that are taking place at the center. And we have an estimated cost of $75,000 to $80,000. And on the following page, we have a mock-up of what the sign would look like. Obviously, as you can see, it does a much better job of promoting the events within the complex. The next slide, we are talking about the replacement and removal of the front doors. The doors being over 30 years of age, there are a number of safety issues with regards to the doors. There's rusting. As you can appreciate, with salt and water, the concrete is deteriorating over the years. It does bring into question potential security issues in terms of break-in and entries. And we estimate the cost there at approximately $130,000. Yes.
Can we ask questions from line items? Is that okay?
Sure.
Whatever you want. Can we go back and go back to the first capital project? Go back to the pylons? The pylon sign?
The next one. I think I was going to ask the same question as you, Councillor Twill.
Thank you. Thank you for being here, gentlemen. My first question is with respect to the signage, if we can go to that slide. We had a discussion here at our last economic development meeting and subsequently at council. And when we're talking about signage, and we talked about digital signage. So with respect to digital signage, is that what the request is here? Is that what that signage signifies?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, having said that, where you have the signage there, was there any thoughts of having the digital signage on the building itself and maybe even bigger, something similar to what you see with the Confederation Center?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, and Council has, we haven't spent the money they approved last year for outdoor digital signage, so that's on that docket. This is a new one for this year. So we still are looking at a digital sign. You can see the sign on the wall, or on the wall behind there.
Yes.
We're talking about taking that down, and we're getting that priced hopefully before the end of March.
So will that be
That would be on
similar?
last budget, because we already have
John,
approval.
will that be similar to what you would see at the Convention Center?
Yes, it would be a digital signage that would advertise our events. It'd be a running, we could tie them both in together. This is what's allowed by bylaw now. It's 4 by 6, I believe, that the sign that's on there. What we were looking at here, Councillor, is that underneath is there, the structure is there, and it's wired. So it's, all it is building the top board. We're gonna take off, build a top of that. It's already underground wired and everything else, so we're saving ourselves some money. And that'll be a full digital sign as well, 4 by 6.
Okay,
But the sign itself is 8 by 10, maybe something like that, 100,
And
8 by
and
9.
what you're talking about on the building itself, would it be the same size as the Convention Center, or?
Be quite honest, I can't, I don't know what, we're looking at pricing to see if we can get in under the budget that the council gave us last year, so. Not
Okay.
sure how big it can be.
Well, we're looking at changing, I believe we're gonna have to make changes to the zoning and development bylaw to allow for, signage for, digital signage throughout the city of Charlottetown.
Right.
And I just thought it might be an opportunity for the Eastlake Center to, be in on the discussions, I guess.
Would love to be. I'd love
Being
to
on
be
the
in on it.
discussions,
Yep.
to maximize the visibility and to get that message out there to people that are commuting up and down Kensington Road.
Which is why we have the angled sign out the front the way we have it. The sign flat on the building. I mean, you'd have to drive by and turn up to look at it. This, you'll be able to see it as you drive each way. So
Okay.
it's in our plan to replace that sign as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, just through the chair, whether it's Eleanor or CAO or Sue or Wayne, the signage that's allowed now, digital signage, I don't think it's permitted in our right-of-ways. Is that correct, Wayne?
Through the chair, your worship, you are correct. So there's two components to this. The request that came from another party was specific to the public right away. I'm confident in saying, although I don't have the wording in front of me, that the bylaw permits digital signage on city-owned property with respect to city-owned venues, et cetera.
Yeah, yeah. So this is already permitted use, yeah. So, and as John, or maybe Philip mentioned, that in last year's budget, spotlights, floor scrubber, time clocks, digital signage at 150,000. Did you spend all that 150,000?
No.
No.
Sorry.
So really, this is just a carryover from last year. You're gonna-
Yes, your worship. In some respects it is, but I think between the two signs, it's going to be more than 150,000.
Yeah.
So we're coming in knowing we have 150 for that big sign on the building that we're talking. That was also some, this is new this year. This is for this sign. This sign wasn't in that original 150,000. That was the outdoor sign and wayfinding signs inside for Canada Games and whatnot.
Right.
We didn't have to do it. We didn't
Right.
need to do it.
So you
So that
did,
money's still there.
you did build that infrastructure, inside, outside, and use that money?
No, we didn't. We haven't
Okay,
yet.
that's all, yeah.
That's what, yeah, we haven't
Yeah.
yet. We're hoping to have something in place before.
And a
budget day.
discussion that was followed up, I think from Steve Bellamy at the Confederation Center, when he met here with us on the 24-25 budget year workshop. He talked about looking at more of video for the digital signage. So I think you'll have to incorporate that into this cost so that you can provide live feed, maybe even some, similar to what we have with that, the new score clock with the video imaging. It was a game changer for Canada Games, and I think this will add to it. I agree that the signage on the north wall, unless you're turning your head to see who's going into the Eastlink Center, who's coming out, and why are they in there, that's the only reason you look that way. So yeah, I support it.
And I would just draw your attention to the dimensions there on the slide, that we're talking 72 inches by 48. so,
Yeah, you may have to go bigger.
yeah.
Yeah, because I think we're going to be looking at variances for the signage, digital signage. I think we're now 2023.
Yeah, and Chair, yeah.
Councilor McAleer?
The only comment on the sign there, I realize you're surrendering in a mock-up. We wouldn't have the flowers blocking the bottom of the sign.
No.
All right,
Move
thanks,
on.
gentlemen. Carry on, yep.
So moving on to the replacement of the front and rear doors in the building, as I indicated earlier, it represents a safety issue. The doors are, showing their age in terms of rusting. The concrete around with ice and snow and salt is causing the concrete to deteriorate. Obviously, weaker doors present a risk in terms of potential break and enters. And the cost estimate that we have there is $103,000.
What are you looking to replace them with? Similar or roundabouts? Or-
No, similar. We priced out at just replacing them. We tried to get them fixed and they can't fix them anymore. It's all rotten underneath. The threshold, I guess you call it, is sticking up. So we have to be careful people don't trip on it and stuff. So they've paid for themselves, I think, by now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
The next item is additional cubbies for 4 dressing rooms in the rink. Sorry?
Sorry, sir. Is council, question for Councilor Twill?
Just on the replacement of the doors, has there been any thought given to expanding the footprint of the atrium? I see there's room there, maybe to bring the atrium out a little further, and I'm just wondering, because of some of the challenges that you face with the salt and weather elements and all those other challenges, have you given any thought to expanding the atrium, and that would give you more room on the inside with respect to the lobby?
We haven't looked at that, but I think you'll see down the road in our presentation that we're bringing back the conversation around a complete renovation of the building based on the initial work that was done in 2004. And maybe some of that could get addressed in terms, if we move down that road. So
Okay.
looking at the singular, I think the bigger issue is looking at the whole complex in terms of what's required.
Okay.
You gentlemen, do you want to go to the end of your presentation, answer questions, or as we're going here? Do you find it too distracting, or? Well, up to them? No, it's whatever works for you guys. You guys are doing the presentation.
We're fine.
We're fine.
Find the way? Okay.
So the next slide, we talk about additional cubbies for the dressing room, which are little boxes over each area that a player might be sitting. We had a number of the dressing rooms 2 and 3 outfitted during Canada Games. We'd like to continue with that initiative. And it was pointed out to us during the World's Under-17s that some of the dressing rooms didn't conform with the expectations they chose to overlook that, which was great. So I think as a requirement, we'd like to continue with that initiative. And we're looking at a cost of approximately $28,000 there. Any questions on that one?
You have no pictures on that.
Sorry?
No.
You don't have any pictures that showcases that?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Google it. They're basically those square boxes, and if you walk into dressing rooms, you see them,
You know what I mean?
you see guys put their hockey gloves in or whatever. It's just a personal space. So the next slide is the big one. We've already talked about, complete renovation of the structure. Again, looking at the initial work that was done in 2004. So what we're proposing here is an update to that study. And, we would see that positioning Eastlink Center in terms of the market, meeting market standards. We would see it as increasing usability in terms of entertainment. We would see it as enhancing the experience for our fan base, increased security for performers, and this is an issue that practically comes up fairly frequently when we have performers on the arena side of the event, of the area. Storage is always an issue in terms of in the rink, so that would help. And what we would propose is establishing a group between our board and staff and the council to give this a thorough review. And we haven't had an opportunity to come up with a price with regards to that. We can certainly get back to you if there is interest in pursuing this further.
All right, any questions on that? I know something, entertainment section is close to Mr. Tweel's heart. He's been asking for that since the full year that I've been here for concerts and so. Councilor McAleer?
Yeah, that I don't know how the rest of the committee feels, but that sounds like a reasonable approach, kind of going forward. And I just wonder on the bullet there, establish a working group, would I be right, and take anyone's lead on the answer to this, that we wouldn't we want to have the province part of that? Would they be, in any way be, or a provincial representative part? Or would that be not appropriate for?
Thank you, Councillor. It is a city-owned facility. I certainly would expect that we would be after the province and probably a COA for some additional funding or for part funding on it. So, yeah, to me, that would be an idea, that to have the province sit at the table. Yeah. Actually, we have a member of the province on our board, so we could.
And again, I don't think that we've sort of fully flushed out who the membership would be, but I think, we'd like to take a broad look at a committee that would have input into what the overall functionality of the facility would be. So, on the arena side, on the sports side, on the entertainment side, those would all be valuable pieces of input.
Thank you. Manager Wayne Long, you have a question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I was just also going to mention that should this exercise proceed, that it should not take place in isolation of the fact that there was two modern recent reports done by Sierra Designs and John Hack, of which the municipality paid a lot of money for, and there's a lot of good information in there. So I would remind the committee and also Eastlink Center representation here today that those two reports should also be considered as a part of this process, because a lot of work, investment went into that exercise.
But, Mr. Chair, just on that point, I think that John Hack, right? He was looking at a new multi-use sports entertainment center. I think what Philip and John are talking about is going back what took place. I think it took place when Mayor McDonald was here. That's when that funding took place to bring the seats down to the glass and so forth and add the corporate boxes. And I know that we did reach out to an architectural firm in Vancouver, and they looked at raising the roof to add maybe another 1,000, 2,000 seats at a cost of what back then, John, was a 10.5 million, which would now be about 30 million. So, yeah, I agree with you, Wayne, to add that to the sort of the references, but their focus, and I know Councillor Tweel was on that multi-use sports entertainment task force that was chaired by, was it Mike Hennessy? Yes, that looked at, visiting facilities elsewhere in the country. sorry.
Councillor Twill.
Yes, you know, it's two different exercises for sure. You know, I guess if you're looking to enhance this particular facility, you know, what are you looking at in terms of time frame, cost benefit analysis? Let's be candid, it wouldn't be the same as constructing a new facility. Okay, let's be candid with one another and everyone in the room. A new facility would, I don't know what that noise is, but, a new facility would, you know, when you talk about enhancing the, fan experience, spectator experience, a new facility would afford you the opportunity to have all those amenities that you're seeing being constructed, regardless how big these facilities are, whether it's for the NHL, AHL, or whatever. And back when we went through the exercise with John Hack, we referred to it not just as an arena, but as an entertainment facility. And we looked at it from through that set of lens. We looked at everything from seating, we looked at location, we looked at a number of factors that had to be taken into consideration. If you're looking at this particular exercise here, which would, I guess, help us in the interim, I believe that's what the motivation is, gentlemen. Please correct me if I'm wrong. This would, take us for the next maybe 5-10 years? Is that what we're looking at, Phil?
I think, you know, certainly we're looking at this in terms of improving the facility and addressing a need that has long been asked for in the city. Obviously, it doesn't represent what a new facility potentially could be, but in terms of being able to go after more events and provide a better experience for the entertainers and the participants or the fan base, all of that would be important in terms of enhancing the entertainment area of the city.
Okay.
Follow-up?
Mr. Chair, I just would also add, as a part of the John Hack's Sierra Design exercise, he also looked at renovating the venue, not necessarily in detail, but Councilor Trio will recall, he was on tours with us. We looked at other venues that had retrofits and the cost of doing that and the impact on losing the operation of the venue for a period of time and what that might mean from significant impacts on major tenants and/or finances. So while while the end result was looking at a new venue, he also looked at the impacts of what it would be to renovate the existing venue. So I will recirculate those reports to the committee and perhaps to the Eastlink Center representation just to have as a part of this exercise.
I think that'd be great, new information for the councillors.
So, Mr. Chair,
Thank you.
just to go back, John, I just want to look at last year's heating system upgrades, the $1 million. Did you expend all that? Was that through Honeywell?
Yes, it was through Honeywell, but the project hasn't taken place yet.
So that hasn't been
No,
spent?
No.
Okay,
No.
okay.
And it was, I think, if I recall, it was approved based on the province and different funding models.
Right.
So,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
They applied for a grant on
Yeah.
our behalf, and we didn't get it.
So, Philip and John, you know, Canada Winter Games, 1991, legacy project. 32 years later, here we are back in a legacy project from first Winter Games held in Prince Edward Island back in 1991. Facility was top shape, top fitted for all the Canadian teams that played here, with the most spectacular game of the whole Winter Games was the Ontario-Saskatchewan men's game. So, like, the facility has done well, has aged well. You know, when you compare it to humans, it's aged very well for 32 years and all the work and activities that have been done there. And I think, you know, when you look at the John Hack report and, you know, the multi-use sports entertainment center, that was one of the first dossiers that we were handed as a new council back in 2019. And to look at that, you know, South Debonair in Moncton was $130 million. That's a lot of cash. And then I think the task force that was set up by the previous Mayor Lee was to take the East Link Center and use that as a minor hockey facility, like a 4,000 seat facility for minor hockey. It just didn't bode well with me. That's why I think both of you are going down the right pathway. And I think that one of our biggest partners out there is Atlantic Lottery Corporation. They were a big part of, retrofitting, renovating the Charlottetown Driving Park after Hurricane, you remember, Philip, Hurricane 1. And just look at their profits last year, $500 million in profits. So there's cash there. It's just that we have to find a linkage to get them more connected with what we're doing there at the East Link Center. And if I can just drill down to one other issue, you talk about the north doors of the facility. I'm sure the south doors are in the same condition, correct? So I think you have to do both?
Yeah, there's for both.
Yeah, okay, so that, I just wanted to clarify that. I thought we saw the north end doors. This is for both doors, sets of doors. Anyways, look, I think what you're doing with the facility and what you need, we can't close down the facility because that means you have to relocate your tenants. And I know there's some other jurisdictions that would love to have a relocation of what we're doing at the East Link Center to their center, whether it's west or east. But I think we have to find a plan that we can continue operations and at the same time develop a facility that is appropriate for the size of the city and appropriate for attracting the events that we want to attract. And I think you changed your bylaws, Philip, did you not? That under the bylaws, this is no longer just a hockey arena, it's a multi-use sports entertainment center. Is that correct?
That's correct, and that's certainly within our strategic plan as well, that we developed a couple of years ago in terms of the entertainment side. And just to your comment, I think, it would be important to identify all the significant players that need to be around the table
ACOA?
to, drive this forward.
Yeah.
With
Yes.
with a vision that has,
And Philip, to go back to, and I think maybe Councillor Tweel might remember, maybe Sue might remember, but back in, when Mayor McDonald was here, when we did the renovations, I don't know if there was a working group. Was there a working group, Sue, that was part of that renovations to the East Link Center back in 2002? I think it was just ran out of that corner office over there, and we were told what we had to be told and move on. So if you're looking at a working group, great idea, but I would reach out to, I know Bert McQuaid's not around with ALC, but I'm sure there's Mike McKinnon, there's David McKenzie, like bring those guys to the table. And again, you're looking at just not the arena, it's the trade center, the CDP. Like we have to look at this whole facility as three components and projecting it as one. So look, great job. I think we need to move forward.
All right, well, thank you for your history lesson there, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your history lesson. And we're going to move on get the presentation because the clock is moving here. Okay, I thought there was another slide the way you were saying. Thank you very much for coming in, guys. Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Thank you. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Philip Matasavage. Got it right.
Next presentation, Wayne Long on Victorian Christmas Market.
Mr. Chair, I don't really have a presentation. Staff did prepare a report, as the mayor indicated at the last meeting that he had received some communication from residents with respect to the impacts of the generators of the Victorian Christmas Market. The report speaks for itself, so hopefully committee members had an opportunity to speak for that. In short, I can say that we communicated with Discover Charlottetown to get the details. There was one night where the generator operated overnight, and was a result of the temperature dropping quickly and to avoid lines freezing and other materials within some of the vendors who were at the market. We also spoke to Charlottetown Police Services, who are not in receipt of any complaints. We spoke to the manager of the Dominion Building, property manager, who also indicated that they have not received any complaints and no communication has come through their tenants association. So I don't really have much more to add than that, other than staff will continue to work with the organizers and remind them that they are operating in a residential area. The festival is an important component to the larger Christmas celebration in the city. All three levels of government have invested. It's contributing substantially not only to our community, but there's a touristic impact from it as well. So beyond that, I don't have a whole lot to note at this point in time. I'm not completely sure where the complaint came from, but it does align with what the mayor indicated. Certainly one of the generators did operate one of the nights, but you can see in your report the hours of operation of those generators, so.
So can I just follow up with a quick question, Mr. Chair?
Okay.
Through the chair to Wayne. Wayne, so I'm just trying to get an understanding. Is it Discover Charlottetown, work in collaboration with Economic Development, Tourism, Festival Events, and Downtown Charlottetown Inc.? Is that the working group for this, for the Victorian Christmas Festival?
So the Victorian Christmas Festival is a specific project of Discover Charlottetown.
Okay.
The City of Charlottetown is a partner in the overall Charlottetown Christmas Festival, which we once knew as the Wintertide Holiday Festival. And then the other partners involved obviously are other agencies like Downtown Charlottetown Inc. would support, as would the other levels of government. Tourism PEI is an investor, ACOA is an investor, as is the municipality, not only financially but with in-kind contributions as well.
Yeah, so I appreciate very much that you come back with this information. I know that it's getting better and better every year, especially the night that we did the lighting of the Christmas lights, and I think there was, you estimated 4,000 citizens or residents were there to watch the opening of the Victorian Christmas Festival, and I think the collaboration is very important, and so if in the future, if someone is trying to find out who's responsible, do they go through us, DCI, or Discover Charlottetown?
They could certainly come through us. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll direct them in the right direction. I'd also suggest that if any individuals in that area, specifically with the Dominion Building, if they have any challenges, they should speak to the manager of the property manager, as well as the Tenants Association, who speaks officially on behalf of that property.
Mr. Chair, thank you very much, and I much appreciate the information. Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Long, and great questions, Mr. Mayor, so it's good. Any questions?
Yeah.
Councillor Twill has a question.
Thank you, Wayne. A couple of things. So this event is spearheaded by Discover Charlottetown, correct?
The Victorian Christmas Market, yes, is a property of Discover
So
Charlottetown.
Victorian Christmas Market is hosted by Discover Charlottetown, with the city obviously playing a role in terms of providing services in kind and other attributes that we would bring to the table, correct?
Yes, Councillor, through the chair, that is correct.
Okay. There's many ways I want to, look at, the whole concept of the Victorian Christmas. I think it's a great concept. Victorian Christmases are very popular in other cities in North America. I attended one down in the States. Oh God, it would have been a long time ago. It was fantastic. The whole community was centered around Victorian Christmas. But having said that, Wayne, the concern I have is from a city perspective. Have all of the, you talk residential, the mayor pursued this from a residential perspective. I'd like to pursue it from a business perspective. Have all of the businesses say from Queen Street, now how far down did it go, Wayne? Was it King or Sydney? Okay, so were all the businesses, like were they communicated with? Were they involved in, how the event unfolded? Were they, did they have an opportunity to communicate as to the pros, the cons, and how it impacts and affects their business?
Through the chair, Councillor, thank you for your question. As with all events that happen in the downtown core and the public right-of-way, there's 3 or 4 steps that happen through various municipal departments, with the police department being one of our predominant ones. So whenever there's an event in the Downtown Residents Association is communicated with, and they speak broadly onto the residents in the downtown. Any businesses that are in the direct area are visited from door to door by an individual, and also with a letter that provides information and an overview of the event that is happening. And then, of course, our partners like Downtown Charlottetown Inc. send out a communication to all of their members, which the majority of them are businesses within the downtown core. I'm not aware of any challenges. Obviously, there's feedback that's given at times from businesses, and that's taken into consideration. If you look at not only this event, but events like Farm Day in the city and other events that draw significant foot traffic to the downtown core, not only is the event being hosted there, but it's elevated traffic to visit those businesses as well.
Okay, just to follow up, thank you. So you outlined the police department, Downtown Residents Association. There is an association downtown? Okay. And then, of course, Downtown Charlottetown Inc., that's Downtown Business Association. So who communicates with the business community? Is it the city? Is it Downtown Charlottetown Inc., or is it Discover Charlottetown?
Through the chair, Councillor, it is the event organizer. So one of the requirements of the municipality from police when they authorize a road closure, the event organizer is required to take a couple of steps to communicate directly with those who are impacted in the direct area.
So it's the event organizer. Okay. Fine. I just, I was contacted by one of the businesses there who had some concerns. I was trying to understand the protocol and the procedure, so I will go back and I will ask them, did they receive a letter? Was there any consultation? Was there any collaboration with the event organizer? And then go from there. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Long, for answering those questions. Anything else? No? Yep. No. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Mr. Long. And under new business, we have Brenda Norman here to give us a quick presentation. Welcome. Just hit the button on your mic to turn it on when you speak.
Now, Mr. Chair, can I just give some background here? So Brenda and David, they are presenting a possibility of a festival for the city of Charlottetown. There's no funding request. It's just to give an overview. And I thought with Wayne here that they could follow up with them. And Brenda, David, and I met this morning, and I thought, well, what an appropriate time just to give a quick overview. So there's no ask, but just it's an information session, and I appreciate that we have it on the agenda.
Thank you for the background. Go ahead, Brenda.
Thank you, Your Worship, Mr. Chair, councillors, and management, I guess. My name is Brenda Norman, and I'm a newcomer, you can say, to Charlottetown, although I'm from the soil because my family from both sides landed here and are in Canoe Cove. And so I'm from the soil. So that's McDougall's and Shaw's. So those founding families are my families. So I'm a garlic farmer and a community developer. I'm a seasonal worker, you might say, and I wear many hats. I wear hats all the time, just for the record. And as a farmer in Eastern Ontario, originally from Montreal, I discovered garlic by accident and fell in love with it. And with that, I started to study garlic and saw that and in the findings that Canadian garlic is actually the best garlic in the world. And so I went and studied the World Trade Market and discovered $33.3 billion annually a year, that was 2017, is made on garlic. 33 billion is China. Canada is not on the World Trade Market, and we grow the best garlic in the world, and I brought some for all of you to take a piece home today and cook or plant, whatever you like. So the idea is we've had, coming this year, 10 garlic festivals in Eastern Ontario. This is our brand, that's what it looks like. And we're a not-for-profit organization called Cause Roots Community Empowerment Project, and we do just that. We work with the community stakeholders, from youth to seniors to food banks, women's shelters, you name it. Everybody's invited, artists, associations. And so what we've done over the last 9 years is invited these stakeholders to be part of the Eastern Ontario Garlic Festival, and they facilitate the activity. Everybody is an expert in their own right, from Girl Guides to Scouts, Marine Cadets. Everybody's invited to come. Not-for-profits have an opportunity to come and fundraise. And of course, garlic growers are the feature. And we feature some food, but what we do is we partner with local restaurants and we have them in the least purchase local garlic. So in the case of the Maritime Garlic Festival, to be launched here in Charlottetown next October during Fall Flavors, we have some buy-in restaurants already, which I won't name today, but we will feature how they use garlic on their existing menu, because we have enough experience to know, like, don't throw something new in. How do you use garlic? We're in communication with the Culinary Institute and their whole curriculum, and also featuring how they use garlic. So there'll be a lot of publicity and marketing for the local restaurants that buy in. It will be on a Sunday, either the first or second Sunday of October during Fall Flavors next year at Confederation Landing, utilizing that space in a new way. And it's really about showcasing Canadian garlic, getting more garlic growing. And for the record, as far as I know, Eureka Garlic is considered the #1 garlic grower in Canada, and they're from PI. So that's something to be proud of. His garlic seed, their garlic seed, is in farms all the way across the country. So when you look at $33.3 billion, am I still on? Okay. And you think about maple syrup or potatoes or Macintosh apples, we keep 8% of our maple syrup, and everything else is shipped out around the world. It's billions of dollars. We can change the economy, and we can encourage young people, which is another part of what we do, is to grow food. It's very trendy. Cooking food, growing food is trendy. So we create jobs. We call them agri-food apprentice jobs. Through Canada Summer Jobs, we've hired 50 youth to date. We match them up with farmers historically, but now we have an experiential farm, of which we're opening one here close to Charlottetown, and we'll be hiring youth to work there. So it's a whole cycle of creating a system to make it so that we can be growing garlic. We grow the best garlic in the world, and encouraging young people who likewise might not be into other things, but everybody can get their hands in the soil and help to produce food. And in our case, we're very focused on garlic. Garlic is also the one food that brings all different ethnicities together. We all use garlic. And when we say we showcase not-for-profits, we invite all the different cultural groups. And with that, it makes it easy for the organizers to facilitate fun activities and learning for the patrons. We've had over 50,000 patrons come through our events over 9 years. We've generated over $1,300,000 for our vendors. We're a volunteer-based, not-for-profit, so we do not ever try to make money. Rather, we demonstrate the capacity of community, individuals, businesses, municipalities, and as their skill, as the greatest currency there actually is, which is people power. So with that, we have a video up here that we can show you. This was our second year of the Eastern Ontario Garlic Festival. And just for the record, during COVID, the world shut down, and I met with the health unit in Ontario and said, well, we're a food event. Food is essential, so we're becoming a market. So we remained a market for 2 years, and all the other farmers markets had closed down. So we actually went ahead and we opened a full-time market for 22 weeks and facilitated a place for farmers and consumers to meet in a safe environment. So we'll play this and give you an idea of what it can look like. And if you can maximize the size of the screen, that would be great. So imagine Confederation Landing with all these vendors. So first and foremost, it's PEI growers first. It's a Maritime Garlic Festival that will eventually go on tour, but we'll share more about that another time. We'll be inviting garlic growers from the Maritime provinces, but all other vendors that participate have to be from PEI. So we're very tight on the vendors who come. They have to make, bake, grow, raise to be able to participate. And if you're a chef, you have to purchase your products from a farmer, or you raised it yourself or grew it yourself. Thank you.
Just hit your button there, and you'll be able to hear us through the speaker. So thank you very much, Brenda, for your presentation. I grow garlic, and it's not a whole lot of work, but it is rewarding at the next year.
So you do grow your own garlic?
I grow my own, and I bought it off the other company there that you mentioned, but every year, and they save the seed and just grow. It's very simple to grow.
So, Mr. Chair, what Brenda is doing is planting a seed here, or a garlic bulb, just to go to the next step, and I thought it would be appropriate that we get an opportunity to hear what she's proposing, along with her partner, David, and that we could follow up, or she can follow up with our Economic Development, Tourism, and Festival Events Department, and Wayne Long is our active manager, so that's why I brought her in, and thank you, Brenda, very informative, and I think it's a good path forward.
Absolutely. When
Any
my first
questions?
sign of the video, it actually looked like it was the landing. When I had to really take a look, it looked too narrow, the lake in Ontario. So, no, I think a great, great presentation, great idea. Councillor Tweel, any questions? No? All right. Thank you very much, and a Merry Christmas to everyone.
Thank you
And,
very much.
Sue is gone. I was going to wish her a happy retirement. You're gone? Thank you.
Thank you. Can I? Yeah, she's breaking them up.
Okay.
Can I move to adjourn?
Yeah. Motion to adjourn?
Moved?
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas, everyone.